Louisiana's own House Speaker Mike Johnson. Speaker Johnson, did you have any idea that Louisiana could be harboring a Hamas attacker?
I had no idea. It's alarming to all of us, but I'm certainly glad that we have an administration who is prioritizing rounding up these dangerous people, and it's a great relief to a lot of folks down there.
This suspected terrorist was not secretly involved with terror groups. He was posting about terror groups on his social media, but nobody here in the U.S. looked, and he got a visa after the October 7th attacks. How many terrorists got in, ballpark, under the Biden administration because nobody checked their social media?
No, it's a very important question, and a problem that we were pointing out during the 4 years of the Biden nightmare. They had a wide open border. As many as, by some estimates, 20 million illegal aliens came across that border, and many of them obviously not intending good things for our country. So we know that terrorists got across the border, and I don't think anybody on planet Earth can discern exactly how many will be living with the threat and the ramifications of that open border, probably for the rest of our lives, Peter. But I'm grateful again for an administration that is prioritizing the removal of dangerous people. ICE is out. They've targeted and they've gone after and prioritized the dangerous, hardened criminal elements that are out there, and of course, terrorists. And this is the latest example, another exhibit that elections really do have consequences. And President Trump is back in charge, and the American people, by the way, made that the #1 issue in the election last November. So we're following through on those promises.
Overnight, there was some new fighting in Gaza. It sounds like Hamas violated the ceasefire and Israel responded. It's a very delicate ceasefire. President Trump wants Hamas to disarm. Why aren't they disarming?
I wish we could answer that question. The entire world is prevailing upon Hamas to put the weapons down and stop the onslaught. They are the ones impeding the progress there. This everlasting peace that President Trump says that we are on the verge of achieving, but you have to have willing partners on the other side. Hamas has proven over and over they cannot be trusted. They obviously have a murderous, dangerous ideology. Their sole purpose is to exterminate Israel and Jews and Americans, by the way. And the only way for the people of Gaza to have peace is for the bad guys to stop doing this. They agreed, we thought, to do it. So we'll have to see how this plays out in the coming hours and days.
And we have a new clip of the president's closers with this peace deal. Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff talking about how it sounds like Israel almost blew the whole peace process by targeting Hamas inside Qatar because Qatar was the key middleman. Listen to this.
Now, I had heard that the president, that he was furious.
I think he felt like the Israelis were getting a little bit out of control in what they were doing, and that it was time to be very strong and stop them from doing things that he felt were not in their long-term interests.
And so, based on that, Speaker Johnson, can President Trump trust the Israelis to follow through now?
Oh, I think so. I mean, what you're seeing play out on the world stage is a return of peace through strength. Sorry, and President Trump is the one that has brought that back, and he's able and willing to have strong conversations, not just with our adversaries, but with our friends as well. And he speaks directly, and he spoke directly to Prime Minister Netanyahu. They have a long relationship and one of trust, and he told him enough is enough. And I think that was a precipitating factor in getting us to this incredible point that we are now, a truly historic peace deal that just by sheer force of his personality, President Trump was able to push through. And I think he greatly deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. In fact, Speaker Ohana of the Knesset and I have joined forces to try to collect as many signatures as we can from other speakers and leaders of parliaments around the free world to join us in co-nominating President Trump for the next Nobel Peace Prize. There's no one's more deserving than that.
And there was some more breaking news this weekend. George Santos got sprung by the president. 2 years ago, you let the House, Speaker Johnson, have a vote of conscience to expel Santos. What do you think about President Trump commuting his sentence?
Well, the Constitution gives the President of the United States the full power of pardon and clemency and commutation. He chose to do that here. I hope George Santos will make the most of this second chance at life. As a Christian, I believe in redemption. I believe in second chances. The president saw it that way. He said very transparently, he explained his rationale to the American people. Not everybody would like that or agree with it, but he's very transparent in that way. Contrast that, Peter, with what Joe Biden did. He used the auto pen to just grant pardons to just huge categories of violent and hardened criminals. And then the only thing he signed by his own pen, actually we think literally maybe the only thing he signed in 4 years in his own hand, was the pardons of his own family. And he didn't explain any of that because it can't be rationalized in any thoughtful way. President Trump is showing a stark contrast on this, as he has in so many other things. So I hope, again, George Santos will make the most of this.
And this morning, Mr. Santos told Fox and Friends he is not ruling out a congressional bid in the future. If he won and you were still the speaker, would you welcome him back in the conference?
Well, of course. I mean, that's our system. I mean, if the people duly elect a representative, then we will welcome them into the body. I mean, that'd be the job of the speaker. I was opposed to the expulsion of George Santos initially because he had not yet been, prosecuted. He had just been allegations made against him. But look, again, if we're going to be intellectually consistent and we're going to follow Scripture, if someone's turned their life around and they want to do the right thing, then we should be open to that.
I want to ask you about this. The Department of Education is now trying to lay off 465 people because they say they have to. There is a shutdown going on. President Trump has been trying to shut down the Department of Education since his first week in office. Is the administration using the shutdown now to permanently shut down parts of the government?
Well, I don't know. You have to ask the administration and the Office of Management and Budget. I will tell you that the president takes no pleasure in this. I know this, Peter, because when we were in the Oval Office before the shutdown began in mid-September, he pleaded with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries not to go down this road because he knew that good, faithful, hardworking American citizens would suffer great harm because of this. And you see that. The paychecks for troops, while we got it done middle of this month because of the president's heroic efforts, that is not guaranteed going forward. He found a temporary pot of money to pay the troops, but it's going to run out. And you have Border Patrol and TSA agents and air traffic controllers and all the rest, veteran services, health services, nutrition services to mothers and infants. The Democrats have now voted 11 times to block all of that, to shut down the government, and they have no good reason for doing so. Chuck Schumer is doing it for political cover. President Trump is governing, and they've been dealt this situation, dealt this hand by Chuck Schumer, and they have to make the most of it. They have to triage federal spending because Schumer and the Democrats turned off the revenue streams. That's just a reality of where we are.
And just for a lot of people who have been paying close attention all week, President Trump negotiated a big peace deal. At the same time, Democrats and Republicans cannot negotiate an end to this shutdown. It's the 19th day. Why is it that it seems like it is easier to talk to Hamas than Hakeem Jeffries?
It's a great question. Hakeem Jeffries has the same problem that Chuck Schumer has right now. They're both New Yorkers. There is a rise of Marxism in the Democratic Party, and both of them are going to have challengers in their next election. So they have to show a fight. So they picked one on this short gap funding measure, the CR, that Chuck Schumer himself championed just in March, 7 months ago, the same exact thing. The only difference is they're trying to cover their own backsides politically. And it is shameful to us. When people say, why aren't you negotiating with them? Peter, I don't have anything to negotiate. I sent them a totally clean CR. It had zero Republican policy priorities attached to it. It's merely maintaining the status quo, keeping the lights on so that we can continue all of our work and get government appropriations finished up. They denied that, and they've now voted 11 times to block paychecks for troops, and what they filed as the counterproposal, let's never forget, is absolute madness. They want to spend instead $1.5 trillion new dollars. They want to give health care back to illegal aliens paid for by taxpayer dollars to a tune of about $200 billion. They want to claw back the money that we set aside for rural hospitals, and they want to spend on all sorts of wasteful nonsense around the globe. They want all that to come back. We can't do it. They know we're not going to do that, and so it's not a good faith effort on their part.
Well, even when the government is shut down, the Speaker of the House is a busy guy. So thank you very much for joining us on the Sunday briefing. Hope to have you back.
Great to see you, my friend, and congrats on the new show.